Oh, we're off the cuff. We're ready and we're raring to go. We're off the cuff. We're off the cuff. And I'm going to give it a couple of minutes because you're all surprised to see me. Oops, there we go. And I'm just going to wait. I'm actually going to text my friend in Canada to say, put your television on. Let's see. Off the cuff is on. There we go. How are we doing, Chris?
We have a couple of night owls logging on.
Well, you know, it's not. So, what time is it? It's not that late here. It's 9 o'clock or 9:15 or something.
Sharon's saying it's morning.
Good morning, Sharon. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I can see people are coming on. Okie dokie. Well, I just want you all to know. No, sorry. Let's do this again. We're off the cuff. However, we do have to mention that Gregel is here with me, as always, standing to my right side, and especially because it's my birthday today. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. And we have Chris in Vermont. Chris, right?
Yes, I am. Hi, everybody.
So I can see lots of people popping up. Does that mean we've got a few people?
Yes, you do. And it's still growing.
Okay.
Everybody's saying happy birthday, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Well, I don't know if you can see the balloons behind me, but where did those balloons come from? They came from Chris. All those big balloons came from Chris. They were delivered this morning. And also, I think there's one little balloon there which says happy birthday, which came from my friend Mary Lou. I wish you could see the orchids that my daughter sent to me, and I wish that you could see the orchids that my friends Marianne and Pam sent to me, because they are spectacular. I love orchids, and I like white orchids especially. So I got two huge pots with beautiful orchids in them, and other flowers from my friends in England, chocolates, and I have been spoiled, completely spoiled today, which of course, because it's my birthday, don't we all want to get spoiled for our birthday? Now, I think we've got enough people on. I will actually do this again tomorrow for those who don't make it tonight, because I have to tell you, look, I've injured my finger. Can you see that my little finger is injured? When I say injured, there are no cuts. There might be a few bruises on the tip, but I have been using this finger all day long to send likes to way more than 1,000 people. I haven't gotten around to all of them yet. Way more than 1,000 people have either text or they've sent messages or whatever it is, on wherever it is, on Facebook and so on, and Messenger, and they just keep coming. So far the count is way over 1,000. My little fingers, so it's getting a bit sore. It's getting a bit tired, but it's also ecstatic. This little finger's really ecstatic, because I mean, how many of you just took out that time today to wish me a happy birthday? And I'm so grateful to you all, and I feel so loved by you all. It's so sweet of you all. I can't say thank you to everybody, because, well, look, it's drooping. Look, it's drooping. It will be back up again tomorrow, probably. We'll be liking tomorrow. I'd like to send all of you a message, of course, but look, it's drooping. What can I tell you? It's really drooping. So what we thought we'd do today is, I can tell you I've had a great day. We had a great show this morning. We had so many people join us this morning. It looks like we've got quite a few people joining us tonight. I know apparently Sharon tells me it's morning in Singapore. Would that be Are you ahead of us, or no? You must be ahead of us because you're sort of closer to Australia than we are, right? So it is Thursday morning, Sharon, I think, for you. It's still night time for us. In England, it's the middle of the night. It's really, really late. I'm going to see if Junior is awake tonight. Probably sound asleep in his bed where he should be, because what time is it? It's 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I was up until 3 o'clock, not last night, but the night before. And still raring to go, still got up early and still raring to go, because I'm a night owl. I'm a late nighter and an early riser. So the combination means that I keep going and going and going. I'm like the Energizer Bunny, you know, going, 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 stop. But when I stop, I crash. And I crashed a little bit this afternoon. I had lunch and I, did a few bits and pieces and used my finger a lot. And I felt myself going. You know how you feel yourself going. And I rarely take naps in the afternoon, but I thought, it's my birthday, I'm going to just take a nap. So I'm settling down, close my eyes, just feel myself drifting off, and bang, 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 bang on the door. And it was my lovely lawnmower guy. So that was the end of my nap. And he came into the house, and there are balloons and flowers and orchids all over the place, and boxes that I'm trying to fold up and put into the trash, and on it goes. And it's like, oh gosh, he said, what's going on here? I said, oh, it's just my birthday. And so it's been one of those really, really lovely days. I've spoken to people from all different parts of the world. I've spoken to friends in England. It's been great. It's been a really, really great day. And my finger's very sore. So if I haven't liked your comments yet, don't worry, we'll get to them eventually. I'm going to enlist Chrissy's help. Her finger, I think her finger's a bit stronger than mine. What do you think, Chris? Is your finger stronger
Hey,
than
are
mine?
you volunteering me to do something that's meant for you?
Well, it depends. It depends how these things keep going. Anyway, enough about me. Enough about me talking. I've been out for dinner. I've come back. I can't say that I'm still hungry, but I can tell you that we didn't eat the food for dinner. Poor Mary Lou had a just big giant piece about that big of plastic buried in her beef bourguignon. Can I say? Anyway, Chris, that's all over and done with. And now it's over to you. Do we have any comments? Anybody wanting to ask a question? Anybody out there who wants to do any off the cuff stuff with us?
Oh, I think we have them. So, as I mentioned, everybody's sending birthday hugs and saying happy birthday and happiest day ever. Carolyn is saying, it's nice to see you again on your birthday. I really enjoyed the interview with Sarah. It was so amazing. So that was posted today.
It was?
Yes.
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. We've been doing, look, haven't we, Chris? All month long, we've been doing interviews and we've been doing all sorts of stuff. And I'm thinking, the interview with Sarah, oh, yes. Isn't she lovely? Don't you like Sarah? Wasn't she really lovely? I thought she was super. I thought she was really, really nice. And yeah, and I'm always up for doing interviews with people who are nice. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay, Chris, keep going.
Agnes says, a very happy birthday. I couldn't sleep. It's the middle of the night here. And then I saw you popping up. So this is from Agnes in the Netherlands.
Well, Agnes from the Netherlands, I could watch for a little bit more and snuggle down into bed, pull the blankets up, and just let my voice help you to sleep. And I've got that kind of voice. I will put you to sleep if you listen for long enough.
You know what I thought was amazing today, Rosemary? On all of your, I mostly saw it on Facebook, I think, but people held up a copy of the book, whether it was The Eagle and the Rose or Soul Sign or something, and they wished you a happy birthday. And then they said something nice about what they took from your book,
Yeah.
which I thought was extra special because that helps inspire others. But
I, and I,
what I
sorry,
was
go ahead.
also noticing was all of a sudden the people on their friends list went, "Hey, tell me something more about that book. Wow, what a testimonial. Maybe I'll need to pick up that book." So, that they're spreading, all the good inspirational things that you do by putting that on your page. I was really touched by seeing that.
And me too. And this is why we really, really do ask you to share, 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 because I know that those of you who are regular viewers, regular listeners, whatever it is you want to call yourselves, I know that you get as much out of this as I do, and as Chris does. And the idea is to share, 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 because if people don't know, how can they even buy the book, or how can they even be inspired? So our role is to inspire others. So like, and share, share, share. I think that's where we have to go from here. And a big, big thank you to all of you. Really, a big, big thank you for doing that. And it's so nice that you've actually, all of these people, over 1,000 people have actually taken the time to say congratulations or wish for happy birthday, or to mention the 25-year anniversary of the Eagle and the Rose. And let me just say, by the way, that the 25-year anniversary of the Eagle and the Rose is not my achievement. Let's be clear. Every single person who I wrote about, every story that I told, which is not my story, all of those people have a part in that. They've had a big part in making that book so successful and inspiring other people through their stories and allowing me to tell their stories. So it's really quite miraculous. Keep going, Chris.
So now we move on to your cooking.
Oh,
Lori is saying your recipe for the cream cheese was amazing.
oh, good.
Her husband ground up the bay leaves for it.
Really? Oh, that's so good. I'm glad you liked it.
Let's see. Carol is saying greetings from Arizona. She wanted to know what shade your lipstick was today.
Well, I don't know, because um, I have so many different lipsticks. We're all like that, aren't we? All of us ladies are like that. And those of you men who like to wear lipstick, we just, we try this shade or that shade. What I find is really difficult, and if anybody out there knows of a method to do this when you wear lipstick, I like shiny, I like glossy, but you put it on and then 20 minutes later you've licked your lips, you've had a drink or whatever it is you're doing, and it's gone, and then you've got to apply it again, and I hate that. And there are all sorts of methods out there. People say, oh, that stuff you wipe on. And so we really don't want to talk about this anymore, do we? So I've no idea. I've got a drawer full of lipsticks, and sort of when one wears down, I'll take out another one. That's as much as I think about those things, to be honest with you. Chris?
Well, she had said more. She says, "I'm not being flippant, but your droopy eye looks like mine, as I had eye surgery on Monday. We're twins. Seriously, what happened other than you're probably exhausted?"
Do I have a droopy eye? Chris, have I got a droopy eye?
There are times you do look tired, which goes into the next question from Carolyn. Does Gray Eagle ever get after you and tell you to slow down a bit?
No, not really. We keep going, and I'm worried now about the droopy eyes. I've never ever had a droopy eye. I think it's actually the shadow.
The lighting, yeah, the lighting is We were talking about that earlier.
I actually don't think I have a droopy eye. I've never had a droopy eye. Maybe I have one. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think there's such we've had. I don't know what it is, but over the last week, right, Chris?
Yeah.
We can't seem to get the lighting right, and you get shadows and things. We're going to turn the light down a little bit, so I think you'll see. I mean, I'm sorry that you've got a droopy eye, but I don't think. Which one is it? I don't think I've got a droopy eye, but I've turned we can't get the shade right. Somehow you get shadows across. I don't know what it is, but anyway.
I would not worry about it, Rosemary.
I'm actually really not worrying about it. I'm worried that that this lovely lady is having a droopy eye because she's had surgery. So I want you to tell me how's it going, because you've got to get that eye back up and working properly.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
she just had surgery.
Yeah.
Junior's on. You didn't think they would be on, but they are. Good morning, Rosemary and Chris and Grey Eagle watching. He's watching Cry On and just popping on to say hello.
Hi, Junior. I really didn't think you'd be awake. What is it? What did I say? 2 a.m. or something? Where you are, but I'm so glad that you joined us for my birthday. So that's good, right?
Miriam wants to know, who was the most famous person you ever saw or spoke to?
Oh, Elvis Presley comes to mind. A ridiculous story. Every medium on the planet says they spoke to Elvis Presley, whether they did or whether they didn't. So when I say this, I do say it cautiously. But I was in California, and I was in the office of my agents, in the William Morris offices actually, and there were a group of agents, and we were getting together for a meeting, and I can't even remember why we were getting together or what the meeting was actually about, but I'm sitting there and they're all talking, they're all discussing whatever it is, and I'm just sitting there quietly, and it was a ridiculous thing. The next thing I can see this guy wearing white. You know what Elvis Presley's look like. I don't have to tell you all what Elvis Presley looks like. I am in Hollywood at the time, it's true. I am in the offices of one of the most famous agencies in the world. That's also true. But who expects really to see Elvis Presley? So there he is, and he's standing looking at me, and he's talking about one of his guitars, and he was telling me that one of the agents that I actually had only met for the first time a few minutes earlier, that he had recently bought one of Elvis's guitars, and it's a very special guitar. So he says to me, can you, and apparently he was a big fan of Elvis Presley. So Elvis Presley's saying to me, can you just tell him that I know and just want to say hi to him? And I'm thinking, no, no, I'm not going to say that. There's no way that I'm going to tell these people I don't really know, who they're agents, as I've said, in the biggest agency in the world. And no, I'm not. No, I'm not going to say it, because it really just is. It's impossible. I mean, it wasn't impossible, obviously, but I'm not going to put myself in that place. It's ridiculous. So I actually said, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do it. And Craig said, oh, go on. Just help him out. So I'm thinking, okay, well, how do I approach it that I don't look like one of these real loonies? So I actually, when they're all chatting, they're totally unaware of what I'm doing. And then somebody asked me a question, and I miss the question, and they ask me again. And my agent, Joni, she nudges me and she says, you're being asked a question. So I said, well, I've got a question. I look at this guy and I said, so is it true then that you just bought Elvis Presley's guitar? And he's looking at me, and apparently it was at a private auction, and nobody else in the room knew this. And he looked at me and he said, what? And I said, well, he's here and he's telling me, you imagine how ridiculous that is. He's here and he's telling me that you just bought his whatever the guitar was, and he named the guitar and everything, and the guy went a little bit white around the gills, and he said to me, how could you possibly know that? Because he's here. And boy, did he get into it. He really got into it. He said, I just last week just acquired this guitar. I'm not saying he's the most famous person, but he's probably one of the most well known. That if I mentioned him to you, you would know him. Anyway, there we are. That's a silly story, really. It's a really, really silly story. You all think I'm crazy now, because I think I must be crazy. Can you imagine that I spoke to Elvis Presley? Anyway, Chris, come on, let's change the subject here.
Well, speaking of Chris, our dear friend Chris that makes us laugh, they wrote, my daddy was a 2-finger typist, and he knocked out a few good articles as a writer in his golden years.
All right.
What the F is it with the food at restaurants with you? You need to bring Gordon next time.
Well, you know that Gordon Ramsay has this great show, The F Word, and everybody thinks the F word is the naughty word, but actually it's F for food. You know, I have to tell you that this particular restaurant that I went to tonight, I went there a few weeks ago with my daughter. It was her birthday, April 7th, and I went there with her and Reese. But we went at lunchtime. We had a great meal, really great service. So why wouldn't I pick it for tonight? It was terrible. So it's not every restaurant that I have problems with, but I think, you know, when you're used to really good food, which I am, and Chris, you'll bear me out on this, right? We have good food coming out of my kitchen.
I will bear you out.
Most of the time we have good food coming out of my kitchen. And I think if you have good food and you're a bit of a foodie, when somebody puts down in front of you a sliced duck that you've waited over an hour for, and you look at it and you know that it's been sitting in the warmer for at least 40 of those 60 minutes, and it's so inedible because it's so dry. What can you do? What you going to do? Do I say, oh no, it's delicious, thank you very much, pay the bill and walk out? I'm sorry, but I don't, because I can't eat it. And if I can't eat it, and if my friend then says to me, she's got some big giant piece of plastic in my plate, come on. Anyway, but we're not letting that. We didn't let it ruin our night. We went there for the sunset. I was so busy talking to the manager that we missed the sunset. We laughed. We just laughed because that was really the only reason we went there. And we had a great night. We did. We really did have a great night. The food was lousy. The service was worse. But anyway.
And you missed the sunset.
And I missed the sunset. But I was with a really good friend. We had, great fun. We sat on the beach, and for goodness sake, looking out at the sunset, looking out over the ocean. So we really appreciated that. And then we came back here and had meringue. So we're good. We're good.
Agnes is saying, thank you. Yes, please sing me a sleepy song.
Well, I used to sing Reese to sleep all the time. And it worked like magic. I used to sing my daughter to sleep as well. I think most mothers do, don't they? You sort of got your babies cradled in your arms. And it's just that when you start to sing opera, the neighbors, my daughter lives in an apartment in New York City. So I'm rocking Reese and singing lullabies and so on. And then I start singing a little opera. And you just have to remember to keep your voice down, because it might be 2 a.m. and the neighbors are sleeping, but the baby isn't. So you're trying to keep the baby quiet. Anyway, it's just the voice, darling. I don't need to sing to you. It's just the voice. If you listen quietly, close your eyes, I'll put you to sleep. Right, Chris.
808 Christina's asking, did you get any special birthday visits from any family members that's in the spirit world?
Always. Yes, my daddy's been here. Let me see. My brother was here. Greg was here. I woke up this morning and, it was sort of, I was thinking about the last 25 years. Um, it's so hard to sort of think 25 years has gone by and it doesn't feel like it's 25 years. And I certainly don't feel 25 years older. I just feel the same really. So so it started very first thing this morning. And then of course my daughter and my grandson were on the phone with me. And so I've had visits and I've been on the phone with people from England. I know you don't mean that kind of visit, but yes, people from the spirit world have come to share my birthday with me. And I'm absolutely sure when I put my head on the pillow tonight, I'm going to get lots of good nights and lots of kisses. Yes.
Samantha says, I still have my books gifted to me from Rosemary when she was in Melbourne, Australia, and she
Oh,
brought me and my son up on stage for the whole night. I will never forget it. Forever grateful.
wait a minute. Uh, we want to know more about that story. Can you tell us why did I bring you up on stage? What was going on in Melbourne, Australia? Can you share that with us? We'd like to hear a little bit more of that story because I'm struggling. I'm thinking because you have to understand. I see so many people, so many countries in the world, and have had so many phenomenal experiences. And Samantha, I'd love. Can you share? Can you remind me? Can you share your experience with us? Can you tell us a little bit more? Because we'd love to hear it. I think everybody who's listening would love to hear it. If it impacted you as much and you've never forgotten it, can we share in that, please? Chris?
Cheryl's asking, are there any birthdays on the other side?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And my father was born on the 13th of March and he died on the 13th of April. So the number 13 is very significant with him. But I always try to remember to say happy birthday to him on his birthday. I always remember on the day he passed to remember and say happy birthday because it is the beginning, the start of his new life. But I always remember. I don't know what you call it in America, but in England we call it Remembrance Day. Uh, the November 11th, which is when we sort of honor the soldiers and we honor all of those people who fought in all of the wars. So that's a very special time as well. So yes, people in the spirit world, do they celebrate their birthdays? Yes. Do they celebrate their anniversaries? Do they celebrate our birthdays? Do they come to our parties? Or was my daddy there eating dinner with me tonight? I think he was looking out over the ocean. Probably did not want the food, but I think he was definitely looking out on the ocean and just enjoying being with us. And I think our loved ones in the spirit world, they do come and they do celebrate with us when it's our time to celebrate, and when it's our time, whether it's a birthday or an anniversary or just some special time that we're having. They do come and they join in with us and they celebrate with us. Absolutely.
So Marion responded about the Elvis story by saying, we believe you. That's why we tune in to hear some real stuff.
Well, you have to admit, this happened a lot when Elvis actually died, and when all those years ago, however many years it is, and I think every medium on the planet, except me, by the way, just so many mediums and people who are sensitive, and it was sort of trying to. I suppose it's a lot of sensationalism as well. I've seen Elvis, and it was like everybody had spotted Elvis. There were so many people who believed that he hadn't died and they'd seen him somewhere or another. But there were people who believe in the afterlife who said, I've seen Elvis. I was not one of those people. And I have to tell you, I'm always cautious when I tell that story, because I do, although I like to have fun, I do want to be taken seriously in the work that I do. And I know that I am, but still, even so, it's a ridiculous story. A fun story, but a ridiculous story. So I actually got to talk to Elvis. Did it change my life? No, but hey, I know he's changed many people's lives. Chris.
Mark says, happy birthday. Does Gray Eagle celebrate his new birth in heaven? How many years has Gray Eagle been in the spirit world?
Oh, golly. Since the 1800s. How about that? So, moving on. And thank you, Mark.
When you move aside for Gray Eagle on Saturday, what does that feel like for you? Are you no longer aware of your body? This is from Carolyn.
It's a little bit different every time. It depends what's going on. It depends what he's doing. It depends what he's saying. It depends on the emotion of the moment. I am aware of myself. I am very aware of what is going on. And I feel very often, I feel such emotion, because I feel Grey Eagle's emotion, there's my emotion, just listening to him, as far as I'm concerned, just listening to him and listening to what he has to say to us, and the powerful words and the incredible wisdom that he has is, I find, so tremendously moving and so tremendously emotional that even though I can't do anything about it, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling every moment of it, perhaps more so than most people, because I'm sort of, it's like I'm in it. It's hard to explain, really, but anyway, we shall see what happens on Saturday, won't we?
So Samantha is responding to your question.
Okay.
My daughter had been missing, presumed murdered, and the police had stopped working on it. And my daughter came through you, Calidus? Oh, called us down to the stage as you said this was important. You told me, hold on, people are responding and my scrolling is changing here. Here we go. Sorry about that. You told me no one would talk about what happened to my daughter, and my fears were how my daughter suffered. You told me she did suffer fear and was calling for me, but the angels came down and took her with them. Her remains have never been found. She has been gone nearly 30 years now. My son was only 8 at the time, and when we left, he said, I have so much joy in my heart and so much more.
Wow. Sarah, thank you for sharing that. You have just given me the best gift I've had all day for my birthday, that we can help an 8-year-old. My grandson's 8. That we could have done that for him. I mean, that's such a precious gift. Thank you very much for sharing that. I would like to hear more about it. Maybe you could write and tell us about that. Email us, Chris, Kris, at rosemaryaltea.com. I'm overwhelmed with that story. Thank you so much for sharing that, because you probably left there, and and as I'm going through that experience with you and helping you through all of this, that's powerful. But we rarely hear from people afterwards, and we rarely hear how somebody has been affected. And to hear you say that my 8-year-old said, I feel so much joy. Wow. I mean, wow. That means that I'm hoping that means I've done my job. Wow, that's very emotional. Thank you so very much for sharing that with me. I hope that that has carried with him, and as he's gotten older, I hope that joy and that understanding of the fact that his sister is still very much alive. I'm hoping that he carried that with him and it's helped him. And I feel, you said when you first made your comment, I've remembered it all in my life. I think that's something that we would all remember if it happened to us. And Sarah, thank you very, very much. Samantha, sorry. Don't know why I'm calling you Sarah.
It's actually, Rosemary, Samantha.
Samantha.
Samatha.
Okay. Well, my daughter's Samantha, so you forgive me if I don't pronounce it correctly. But Samantha, thank you so very much for sharing that. I'd love to hear more details. Can you email us? Share that with me. I'd love to know more about it. Wow. Thank you. Jeez.
Chris says,
didn't it get you there, Chris, when she told us what her 8-year-old boy said? Did that just really just went straight to my heart? Couldn't have wished for a better birthday present. Wow.
I agree,
Wow.
but I was also feeling for Samantha because I can't imagine what it's like for a mom to not know. And suddenly, thank goodness for you in the spirit world coming through to settle your heart some, and then to live with that.
Yeah.
And to raise a son, even through the loss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's such courageous people around, aren't there? Anyway, let's hear from somebody else, shall we, Chris?
Yes. Chris had said what just occurred, just anchored in what this is all about. Spread the word.
Yes, really. I mean, all of you sort of tuning in here and listening to that story. I mean, I don't know how it's touched all of you, and we're individuals, so we each have our own responses to what we're hearing. But that was like, it was like, I don't know, bolt to the heart for me. It was like, oh wow, that we could affect an 8-year-old and give him that, and also his mom, Samantha, that also that we can affect people in that way and help them to sort of sustain the courage that they have to keep going forward, to keep moving forward. Is so, wow, I love my job. Aren't I lucky? I really love my job. Chris.
Let me just see, because I'm moving over some people just joining and they're all sending you happy birthdays.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I just had the best gift ever.
Yeah, they'll have to listen to the replay.
Wow. I think also, I mean, I can speak to you as a mother because obviously I am, but the idea that I can also speak to you as a grandmother, when you're a mother, you're so often so taken up with the responsibilities, and you want to make sure that you're doing everything right, and it's all on your shoulders as a parent, isn't it? You've got to be the disciplinarian. You've got to be the one who encourages. You've got to be the one who gives the opportunities. So the pressure's on in a way. But a grandparent, hey, he can leave that all to the parents, and we can just be the one they have fun with. We can be the one that we commiserate with them when they're in trouble. My daughter gets upset with me because she'll sometimes say to Reese, I want you to tell Mosey what you did today. And it's probably something that he's done that maybe is, he got into trouble for, or was, he might need to change his behavior. And I will say, now, had it been Samantha, I will say, all right, what do you think you're doing now? You need to pay attention. I would have been stern. But with my grandson, it's, oh, darling, do you tell Mosey all about it? And Samantha will look at me, my daughter, and she'll say, don't give in to him. I said, no, I'm not giving in to him, Reese. You really shouldn't have done that, darling, but I'm sure you didn't mean it. I'm sure you're never going to do it again. And you know I love you, don't you? And I'm sort of like, I'm the grandmother who never, ever will criticize. What can I tell you? Chris?
Mark saying a colleague friend lost her dad several weeks ago from COVID, and she is so angry that he passed and she didn't get to see him. Is he at peace?
Mark, I can tell you from Grey Eagle that yes, absolutely. But, I think a lot of people, for whatever reason, part of the grieving process is, anger. And a lot of people in grieving, they feel angry. They feel angry with the circumstance. They feel angry that they didn't get to say goodbye. They feel angry that it happened at all. But it's part of the grieving process. And I think that once, I mean, you said it's yourself, it's only a few weeks ago. So I think sort of give her time. She'll come around. And I'm sure as a good friend, I'm sure that you will help her to sort of combat the anger, but give it time. It's got to come out. It's all part of the grieving process.
Carol says, is there such a thing as cellular memory? I'd lost track of the time through numerous surgeries. I dreamt of my beloved husband, Paul, and my favorite Jimmy, Paul's brother. Hold on, it's continuing. I realized that I'd missed my husband's transition day that happened now 6 years ago. I hope that Paul won't think that I'd forgotten him.
Darling, I'm sure that your husband knows exactly how much you think about him, and I'm sure that he knows exactly how much you miss him. And I don't think for 1 second he thinks that you've forgotten him, and he certainly hasn't forgotten you, but you know that. So don't worry too much. Hey, we're human with our human faults and failings. There have been times, I said to you, my daddy, his passing was on the 13th of I did say March, didn't I? I actually meant to say his birthday's on the 13th of March and his passing was on the 13th of April. And, there are times when all of a sudden it'll either be at the end of the day, or it might even be the next day, and it suddenly dawned on me, oh my goodness, we miss these things, but we're thinking about them. Thoughts are living things. Our thoughts go out to them. They receive our thoughts. They send their thoughts back to us. Don't worry about it, my love.
Sharon says, my granddad was born on the 25th of August. He passed on the 25th of July. My mom, his daughter, was born on the 25th of November. 25th is a very special number for me.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Well, I always, when I talk about my I talk about my daddy and his birthday and so on, I always think, well, he was born on the 13th and he died on the 13th. So if you count, sort of, it's 12 months and another month is April. That's 13 months altogether. So it's 13, 13, 13. Yeah, so that's always been a very special number.
Natasha says, my mother-in-law has created such angst to the point she ostracized her eldest son. How can one human cause such heartache, especially a mom?
Well, people, I know that we're so tempted, aren't we, when we get a person who's a troublemaker, when we get a person who's sort of, angry and bitter, or pours out their vitriol on somebody else or whatever. There is a temptation to judge, and of course, there's a temptation not to like what's going on. However, I will remind all of you out there, easy to say, I know, but people can only do to you what you allow them to do. And at some point, if you've got a person like this in your life who is poisoning the energy around you and is poisoning your life and is poisoning your relationships, it's time to say enough. It's time to remove yourself from that environment. And if you can't actually physically remove yourself from that environment, remove yourself emotionally, sort of, to find other things to do. Find other ways to be and to be creative in ways that you want it to be. We have to understand that people aren't angry and bitter for no reason. There are very often reasons. That doesn't mean we have to tolerate what they do and what they say. But I think, you're saying, how can one person, how can these people affect? Well, it's first of all because they are angry and bitter. They've allowed themselves to become that way, and they just want to share all that misery with the rest of us. But there are two sides to it, because people can only do to you what you allow them to do. So if you allow this vitriol, if you allow this negativity to get into your life, to get into your bones, to get into your head, if you allow it to affect you in such a way that you become angry and you become frustrated and it ruins your life, then you're the one. Nobody else can do this for you. Let's say your mother-in-law is never going to change, but you need to change. You can change, and you can say no, enough, and mean it. Chris.
Joanne says, my mom, Mickey, got such peace all those years ago in Doncaster when you brought my dad through. I also have her copy of your books all these years later.
Oh, wow. I do. I so remember your mum. And again, could you sort of, if you can remember any instances where we were together, or any experiences that you had or that your mum had that she recounted to you, would you like to email us? Because we are sort of looking for people who are willing to give testimonials, not to say how wonderful I am, but to give testimonials so that we can inspire other people and teach other people what it is, what they should be expecting when they come to see somebody like myself. And, I have very fond memories of your mum, and I have very fond memories of going for Sunday lunch, where she put the most delicious roast beef on my plate. However, I didn't eat meat. And I remember chopping it up into little pieces and pushing it around, because I just did not, she'd gone to so much trouble. I did not want to say to her, sorry, but I can't eat it. I don't. So I think, so I chopped it up small enough and hid it under the mashed potatoes or something. And I think I've got away with it. I might be wrong, but the meal aside, the fact that I didn't eat meat aside, we had such a great time. Wasn't the garden in that beautiful bungalow she had? Wasn't that garden beautiful? Anyway, Chris, sorry. Well, I'm reminiscing.
Well, that's great. That's another birthday gift.
Yes.
Mark is saying, what a beautiful day you've had. So many spiritual gifts that bless you and bless us when we hear such amazing responses like Jenny's. All of you are fortunate, and we all learned so much listening. Love you both.
Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you, darling.
808 Christina says, hi, Rosemary. I'm always seeing the time 11:11. I know it's from my family from the spirit world sending me a message, but I always wonder, maybe, what is it that they are trying to tell me?
Oh, I just think that it's just one of those numbers that registers with us, and it could simply be, if we send her this number, she'll know that it's us. I think there are an awful lot of people who have that same experience with that number 1111. I've heard that before so many times from so many different people. So I've no idea what it means, but take it, love it, run with it, enjoy it.
Rhonda says, Rosemary, besides sending healing thoughts to a person that has a lot of negative things going on in their lives, what's your thought on smudging and placing rose quartz around the house? Do things like this make a difference?
I think they do, but it's not so much about the smudging or the rose quartz. It's about the thoughts and the energy that you're putting out there. So it's whatever it is that it means to you. You're sort of putting out that energy, and it's very effective. I do remember though, one smudging. I was I was at a friend's house. I don't want them to hear this actually, but nevertheless, I was at a friend's house once, and I decided there was a part of where they lived uh, that I felt needed smudging. For those of you who want to know what smudging is. The Native Americans used to do it all the time. They use sage or different things, perhaps. Anyway, I remember this particular time. I got this beautiful sort of nice big piece of sage I was going to burn, because you send the smoke out and you sort of, you know, say your prayers, and it's all about the energy that you're using when you're doing it, really, as much if not more than the actual act itself. But I can remember almost setting the house on fire, and I had to throw the whole lot into the sink and pour water on it. So if you're going to do smudging, just watch yourself, will you? Just make sure you do it in the right situation.
Chris is saying, Betty's, hope you were spoiled with the very same joy you give out to the universe every second on your special day. Tuning in tomorrow, of course. So good night, Chris.
Oh, that's lovely. I did. I had a very special day. Thank you so much. We're almost about to call it a very special end of this session anyway, right, Chris? I've no idea what the time is. How are we doing?
Yeah, you're coming right up in the hour, and the questions have pretty much dried up.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for sharing my birthday with me. We are still celebrating. We're celebrating all the way until the end of this month. We're celebrating our 25-year anniversary of the Eagle and the Rose, and we're celebrating by doing our webinar, which is on this coming Saturday, where we're doing direct voice with Great Eagle. So don't forget that. Tomorrow we're going to be doing our usual Thursday morning show, which is The Spirit World Sees All. And Friday we're having another volunteer who's going to do the bottom brick with us. Saturday is the webinar, and on Sunday, well, I mean, you know, we're going to be making margaritas, which come with a warning. I'm also going to be doing one or two other things. That's my sort of little escapade into the kitchen on Sunday morning. So until I see you all again, thank you for staying up. Thank you for staying up, Junior. Thank you, all of you out there who it's either a very late night or a very early morning, whatever it is. We do love having you. Thank you so much, all of you, for the support. And look, the finger's getting a little bit better, so tomorrow I shall be back liking again. Just, you know, don't get upset if I haven't liked you. It's just that it gets strong and then it droops a bit, gets strong, droops a bit. So thank you, all of you out there, for making my day a very, very special day. Please, all of you, I'd like to say thank you to Chris particularly today, because you've been working so hard. I'd like to thank Grey Eagle, my fabulous companion. We've had a great day. It's not over for us yet. And I'd like to say thank you to all of you for your support, your love, your comments, your birthday wishes, and for joining me on this celebratory month with the 25 years of the Eagle and the Rose. And until I see you again, whenever that might be, please, all of you, have a very, very, very blessed rest of the day.